Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the SpursRelated YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well. It's Monday, it's the start of a new week, and we, of course, have some huge news, as you can tell by the title of the video. Ange Postecoglou to Tottenham. Here we go, confirmed by many Tier 1 sources, including Fabrizio Romano. He is our new man in charge, and today I am joined alongside Ange of SpursRelated, all the way from Canada, not all the way from Australia, like Ange Postecoglou is from. Um, Obviously Greek-born, but Australian nationality. We've got plenty to talk about. We're going to keep this short and sweet. We want to know your opinions on Ange Postecoglou. I've got my own opinion that probably differs from a lot of you guys. And Andre's got his own opinion as well. We'll quickly give our opinion, our verdict, some stats. Smash a like on the video. Smash a comment on what you think about Ange Postecoglou and Andre. Starting things off, just the details, mate. What are we saying about Ange Postecoglou?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is kind of surprisingly quick, right? We were supposed to Tottenham was supposed to have this kind of conversation with him today, and literally in the morning, we had the breaking news. There was verbal agreements, and now basically a full agreement. He's coming to Tottenham. It's going to be a 2-year deal with a 1-year extension option, and we'll see what happens, right? The idea is that Tottenham is really looking for some overhaul. Will this guy be the one to overhaul Tottenham and get them to the place where we'd like to be? That's the real question here.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of overhaul that's also, been talked about by Alistair Gold and other Tier 1 sources that we're going to have a major overhaul with Ange Postecoglou. Will he get the funds to then get who he wants is a completely another story. Just firstly, Andre, like you said, the breaking news sort of came early this afternoon, late morning. There was hints that it was very close. Um, just quickly, how many year deal it is? Well, I'll kick things off. It's a 2-year deal. Reported 2-year deal till 2026, 2025. I'm personally a little bit surprised. 2-year deal. That also says to me that we're potentially not too confident on this one. What do you think?
No, I agree. I was going to add right after that, right? It's a 2-year deal with a 1-year option to extend, meaning if things go well, we'll extend it 1 more year, and then possibly we can extend it more after that if there's more talks, if things are going well. But again, if you look at the pattern, almost since Pochettino left, every manager we've brought in has been around that much time we've given them, and they've never actually made it to the end of their contract. They've been sacked within a year and a half. So will this be the same? Or will they actually let him do his thing
Yeah,
and
no,
trust him?
for sure. For sure. It's a good point. I mean, I'm pretty sure Conte's initial contract was around the same. We don't seem to give away, give out higher contracts than that normally. I am just very, very. I'll give my opinion in a minute, but Andre, you already know how I'm feeling about it, and it's why I'm not really like, yes, guys, Ange Postecoglou. I'm not too hyped. And I know the fan base is quite split on this, but maybe I'm become a bit spoiled in terms of our management, and even the world class names don't really work out. But maybe I'm also thinking these world class names have sort of held the team together, got us top 4 under Conte in a team that probably shouldn't have got top 4. And as soon as Conte leaves, we saw the results go even worse. It says an awful lot. I'm just a little bit worried about how Ange Postecoglou is going to fare up in a much bigger league, a much bigger prospect. Coming from the Scottish Premier League, where arguably there's only 1 or 2 good teams. I know people are going to say in the comments, well, he can only work with what's in front of him, and I do understand that to an extent. He's managed the Australian national team. I've seen some incredible clips of him getting really heated and really, really very heated. In fact, in front of these dressing rooms full of fairly big players. He had the likes of some Australian national team players, Tim Cahill he's managed. But I mean, the Premier League is a completely different kettle of fish, and I don't care which side of the fence you're on, you cannot deny that it's a massive challenge for him, and he needs to be given time. And And do we think these owners are going to give time when they completely just sacked off Nuno after 3 months? Andre, I'm conscious I've just been rambling on a little bit there, but that was my initial thoughts. I'm a little bit subdued. The reason why is because I feel like there was better managers out there. Julian Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Amarin from the Portuguese league. I feel like there was 3, 4, 5 names out there that I would rather have had than this guy. And I think if people are deadly honest, there's not many people out there that would have said he was their first option. And if he was your first option, please do comment and let me know why he was your first option, because I can't see a reason for him being a better option than those ones I just listed.
No, I can understand your frustration. We've had the likes of Mourinho and Conte come here and nothing's happened. And at the same time, right, this is a guy who's never been in the Premier League. But all he can do is work his way up, right? And what he's done so far has been very successful. And he is a very passionate coach who will really back the team that he's given. Obviously, you got to give him the tools to shift things around to his style. And that's with any coach whatsoever, any manager. But, on my extent, I'm a little neutral on it. I'm always going to give that benefit of the doubt. That might be because maybe I haven't been dealing with this pain of the Tottenham pain like you as long, I guess.
Yeah.
But, the numbers show that there is positivity going around this guy, right? And at the same time, it wasn't like what happened with Nuno, where we had talks with Conte. It didn't work out. We brought him in, and we had been already trying to find a manager for the last, 3-4 months. This has been a little different. We haven't had talks, really like serious talks with other managers. So it's not like we're just bringing a guy in just because we have no one else to really look at, right? No offense to Nuno, right? I personally think he was done dirty, that he was just brought in when everyone knew that he was just brought in because we couldn't think of anyone else to bring in. That was, that was just terrible. Just terrible. Yeah.
I just wanted to like build on your point there about Nuno, because I am getting Nuno Espirito Santos vibes from this appointment. Now, let me explain. He is not a similar manager. They play completely different football. I completely get that. And before people say I'm lazy and just say, oh, yeah, it's a less caliber manager, James, you're saying it won't work because he's not a world-class name. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I feel like the hierarchy at Tottenham have taken a punt on Ange Postecoglou. He is a cheaper option. You can't beat around the bush on that. He may turn out to be an absolute gem, an absolute, world-class manager for us that goes on and wins us trophies. If I bring myself back in the room and be honest, do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. I've got to be honest, guys. I can't sit here and join the train of, let's really... I'll get behind the manager, no problem. I will get behind the manager, but I cannot sit here and say, you know what, after 3-4 seasons, I think Ange Postecoglou will still be in charge of Tottenham and we'd have won 1 or 2 trophies. Absolutely not. And I'm here to be proven wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, this squad needs absolute full rebuild, including if Harry Kane probably leaves. That is a huge chunk of our goals. We know that. It's almost half of our goals. I feel like we're going to end up in a position where we're going to have to let anyone stay past 1 or 2 seasons to even try and rebuild this absolute mess. Is Ange Postecoglou the man for that? I hope so, right? Of course I hope so. But I just cannot see it, because at the clubs he's been at, he has been in a position where he gets what he wants for the level he's at, and he can build on that. And he has developed Celtic. There's no two ways about that. But I just fear for this challenge. I really, really do.
No, I can see your point, honestly, but how about we look at some of the stats here? Maybe this might put your mind at ease. So firstly, in the season right before he came in, right, they finished in second, about 20 points behind Rangers. Bear in mind, these are the first phase stats, not the final phase stats. In the first season he came in, they finished with 82 points. They came in first, 6 points above Rangers. And then the 22-23 season, this one now, they came in first with 92 points, 13 points above Rangers. So every season they've been building up. Let's look a little bit more at some more detailed ones, right? We've got the possession stats, and 73.6% possession was the average. It was the highest in the league this season. The second highest being Rangers at 67.7%. The previous season they had 69, and the possession stats before that in the season before that was 66. So every season he's been building up. The same thing with the shots per 90, right? 17.8, then 20.5, right? So we're going up. It looks like all around Postecoglou took everything about Celtic and just made it better, right? He also made 29 signings. That's a lot of signings. And if you were looking at a team that is completely Postecoglou, this is the one, right? And that's kind of what Tottenham might be looking to do. They want to overhaul this team. Lots of players that might need to leave and lots of players to bring in. We even have that whole thing where, movements are happening. I don't want to speculate, right? But you've got Benzema who just left. We just spoke in the last episode about how Real Madrid might be the only club that Harry Kane would choose to leave Premier League for. That could happen, right? So if that happens, what do you do, right? That's a whole new era now. It's a club that does not have Harry Kane. How long have we depended on Harry Kane to do things for us? So this is going to be a completely new chapter with a new coach who in Celtic completely changed the team, but made it successful. Can we do the same here? These stats look positive. All around, it looks like he's gotten the best out of the team that he wanted. And all the stats show that that's the case. Now, of course, you might want to think about the fact that what league it is, right? The fact that we have Joe Hart and Carter Vickers, two former Tottenham players, one who personally a lot of people were calling for him to leave, which was Joe Hart. He didn't do very well. And Carter Vickers, who barely saw any first team action, head off to another team, whether it's a bit of both of the league level or him getting the best out of them, might be both. But it goes to show again that as long as you give him the players that he wants, that he needs, he'll get something out of them. And I think with the amount of money we might be able to bring in, hopefully through some of these players, we'll get something out of this too. But those are the stats that I think personally, they look positive, and I hope that put you at ease just a little bit, because I know I completely understand. You bring in high caliber managers like Mourinho and like Conte, and then we go for Postecoglou. No offense to him. Celtic fans who might be watching, I get it, okay? We don't want to disrespect this manager. He's done a lot for you, but it's like
they're gutted. They're
it's a completely
gutted that
different
they're
beast
leaving
now.
him.
This is the Premier League.
They're gutted that they're losing him.
Yeah.
They absolutely love the guy. I've seen people on Twitter and people on social media saying, Ange Postecoglou, you're absolutely overly lucky to be getting him. And I'm just sat here thinking, no, I would have been lucky to have got Nagelsmann. I would have been lucky to have got that kind of caliber of manager. But trying to put a swing on my thoughts, like you said, Andre, these Contes, these Mourinhos, they didn't work. The last manager that worked was Pochettino. He didn't come in with a huge reputation. Ange Postecoglou probably has more reputation than what Pochettino came in with, other than Pochettino obviously had Premier League experience with Southampton and did pretty well. But I think it's great he plays attacking football. I think it's great his possession stats built up, shots per 90, etc. But I just think I worry because I know that genuinely, if you look at Celtic's squad, it is probably better than ours, minus Kane, Bentancur, Romero, and maybe one or two others. I'd genuinely rather have some of Celtic's players than Tottenham's. Call me mad, but genuinely, I would. It's just a fact. And I seriously worry that he's not out of his depth, but you look at the Premier League now and you're looking at not just the classic top six. You have to include Brighton. You have to include Brentford. You have to include Aston Villa. Not to mention other teams that have started to improve and get and move up their rankings and move up the table in the Premier League.
And don't forget Newcastle.
Yeah. Well, the classic top six, yeah, of course, plus Newcastle. But I just think, I'd like to do another video analysing a bit more about his play style because I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert, but I just think I really hope the comment section, Andre, fills me with positivity, and I've seen a lot on social media, but I do think the fan base is pretty much split. I would say there's probably slightly more fans excited for Ange, but I think it's also a mixture of the fact that we're just, it's nice to have a manager, after 3 months of not having any manager.
Yeah, well, you also have to think about the position Celtic was in when he came in, right? Like they lost Edouard, they lost Christie. These guys went to Premier League clubs, and he had to revamp the squad for a team that lost some of their best players.
Mm,
So, and we're kind of on that same boat now. We're right nearing the end where Harry Kane could go, maybe in this season, maybe next season. Heung-min Son's near the end of his contract too, 2 more years. Who
yeah,
knows how much more he's got left, right? Especially pacey players once once
exactly.
their pace starts to leave, it's about revamping them as well. But things to think about as well. Tottenham's possession stats this season was 49.5%, compared to a 73.6%, in the Scottish league. But
Yeah.
it goes to show you again how far off we are just in general, because we are at the end of the day, we're a Premier League club, so we can't really measure up to the stats of Scottish Premier League because that is a team that's built to try and win in the Scottish Premier League. This is a team that's trying to build to win in the Premier League, and we right now are at less than half in terms of possession stats. That's something that I'm sure he will look to change because he's huge on passing, huge on possession, high defensive line. Those are the big things really that he likes to do. He likes to play with a 4-3-3 most of the time. Can we make it work with Harry Kane or without him? I think that's the big question. Guys, comments down below. Let us know what you think would work best in a 4-3-3 if he does decide to use that.
Yeah, exactly. Get your comments in, guys. Let us know. But Andre, just finally, the one thing I would say is I'm more excited about this clearing the deadwood, rebuild, genuinely hearing things that we're going to get rid of 7, 8 players. I'm more excited about that than the manager. And for me, it doesn't speak volumes. It just says how desperate we are to sort this squad out because it's been absolutely woeful for the last 3 years, potentially even 4. We haven't rebuilt properly when we've lost key players like Moussa Dembele, Christian Eriksen, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen, just to name a few. They've never been replaced fully. I think probably Bentancur has been sort of the best replacement for Dembele, but even that took 3 years, right? 2,
Yeah.
3 years. So I just think it says an awful lot. I feel for Ange coming into this problem. He signed up to it. The verbal agreement's there. Apparently, he's going to sign the dotted lines, but I just fear that it's going to be an awfully big task for any manager. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm a little bit subdued. Maybe it's not just the appointment itself, but maybe it's the size of the task that he faces in such an absolute shambles of a squad and football club right now.
Nope, I agree. Only time will tell what happens. And if Daniel Levy decides to really help him out, fund the players he wants, right? He was willing to do it with Conte. But again, as I always said, he gave him a squad that was not even close to ready yet. And
Exactly.
Conte's a big spender. If
Yep.
you give Postecoglou some time, maybe he could be the guy to get us something. So if he does
Let's
sign on the dotted line, please treat him like your first pick. If you signed him, do not treat him like a second option. He is your first pick. He's the guy. Back him and give him what he needs. That's my only thing for Tottenham. That's what they need to do.
absolutely spot on, mate. Very, very good points. Guys, like we said in the video throughout, smash the thumbs up on the video. If you're watching on audio, rate us 5 stars. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know your comments on this topic in the comments below on YouTube. And as always, guys, remember, come on, you Spurs!